Picture this. It's a Saturday afternoon. You're sitting in a little glass office at the dealership. There's a salesman named Chad sliding a piece of paper across the desk with about 9 numbers on it, and he's looking at you like you're supposed to know what money factor and holdback mean. You don't. And here's the thing, he's counting on that. The whole car buying language is basically designed to make you nod along while your wallet quietly gets lighter. So today I'm handing you the decoder ring. Every term they throw at you, what it actually means, and exactly where it's costing you money. Do me one favor before we start. Hit subscribe and send this to anyone you know who's about to buy a car. Friends don't let friends walk in unarmed. All right, let's translate dealership into plain English. Let's start with the big number on the window sticker, MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price. Read that middle word again, suggested, as in a polite recommendation from the manufacturer, roughly as binding as your dentist suggesting you floss more. It is not what the dealer paid for the car, and it is absolutely not what you have to pay. Think of MSRP as the asking price at a garage sale. It's where the conversation starts, not where it ends. On most regular cars, there's real room below it, and your only job is to work that number down. The one exception is a red-hot model everyone wants, where they'll smile and call MSRP a great deal. It usually isn't, it's just the ceiling they're hoping you'll treat as the floor. Next, the dealer's favorite magic trick, invoice price. This is supposedly what the dealer paid the factory for the car, and at some point, a salesman will slide the invoice across the desk, put his hand on his heart, and tell you he's basically losing money to make you happy. Cue the violins. Here's what he's not showing you. Tucked underneath invoice is a little kickback called holdback, usually 2 to 3% of the car's price that the manufacturer quietly pays the dealer back after the sale, so he can sell you the car at invoice, look like a saint, and still pocket $1,000 on the back end. Invoice isn't the dealer's real cost, it's the floor of the magic show. Aim near it, but don't buy the tears. If you remember one term from this entire video, make it this one, out the door price. This is the single final all-in number you actually drive away paying. The car, the tax, the title, the registration, and every last fee they can dream up. Why does it matter so much? Because dealers love to steer you toward the monthly payment or the sale price instead, and both of those have hidden trap doors. Knock $5,000 off the sticker, feel like a hero, and they'll quietly stuff it right back in through fees and a longer loan. The fix is almost insultingly simple. At every dealership, ask for the out-the-door price in writing, one number, nowhere to hide. And if a salesman won't give it to you straight, that tells you everything you need to know about the rest of the deal. Now the financing words, starting with APR, annual percentage rate. That's just the yearly cost of borrowing the money written as a percentage. The higher the APR, the more you're paying on top of the car itself, and it stacks up faster than people expect. A couple of points over a 6-year loan can quietly cost you thousands, and here's the part they really don't advertise. The rate they offer you is not carved in stone, which is exactly why you walk in with a pre-approval from your own bank first. We'll get there. So you've got a real number in your pocket they have to beat. Instead of a blank space, they get to fill in however they like. If you're leasing instead of buying, brace yourself, because they don't even give you an APR, they hit you with the money factor. It's the lease world's version of an interest rate, except instead of a nice clean percentage, it's written as a tiny weird decimal like 0.00125, which is finance speak for please don't look too closely at this. Good news, there's a cheat code. Take that little number and multiply it by 2,400 and you get the rough APR. So 0.00125 times 2,400 is about 3%. Suddenly, you can compare your lease to a loan like a normal human instead of squinting at a decimal and hoping for the best. Down payment, that's the cash you put down up front. Simple idea, big consequences. The more you put down, the less you finance, the less interest you pay over time, and the lower your chance of ending up underwater on the loan, which is a place we'll visit in a second, and trust me, you don't want to live there. A solid target on a purchase is around 20% down, and here's a quick gut check. If you can't scrape together a real down payment, that's often the car quietly telling you it's a little out of your budget. Better to hear that from me now than from a repo truck later. Loan term is just how long you're financing the car, measured in months. And this is where dealers do some of their slickest work. They figured out most people only ever ask one question: what's the monthly payment? So they stretch the loan to 72 or 84 months. That monthly number gets adorably small, and they point at it like they just did you a favor. They did not. A longer term means a mountain more interest overall, and you stay upside down on the car for years. Keep the term as short as your budget can comfortably handle. 4 years or less is the sweet spot. If the only way you can afford the payment is to stretch it to 7 years, the universe is once again gently hinting it's the wrong car. Speaking of living underwater, being upside down, also called negative equity, means you owe more on the car than the car is actually worth. And cars are frighteningly good at making this happen because they lose value fast, especially early. Put a little down, stretch the loan out long, and within a year you can easily owe more than you could ever sell it for. Where it really bites is your next car. You roll that negative equity into the new loan, the hole gets deeper, and now you're making one payment on 2 cars worth of regret. Honestly, the entire budget and down payment conversation exists for one reason: to keep you from ever ending up here. When you bring in your old car, you'll hear ACV, actual cash value. That's the wholesale number the dealer is willing to give you for your trade. The trick they love is blending it into everything else, so you genuinely can't tell whether you're getting a fair price on the new car, a fair value on your trade, or quietly getting squeezed on both at once. So separate it before you ever set foot on the lot. Get a real written offer from CarMax or Carvana, 10 minutes online, tops. Now you've got a hard number, and you negotiate the trade completely apart from the price of the new car. 2 separate conversations, 2 places where you stay in control. Depreciation is just the fancy word for the value a car bleeds as it gets older, and new cars take an absolute haymaker in year 1. Some drop 20% or more, basically the instant you pull off the lot, and that glorious new car smell becomes a regular used car smell. Now, that's not me telling you to never buy new. Sometimes new is the right call, but it is exactly why a clean, lightly used car, say 2 or 3 years old, can be such a quietly brilliant deal. You let the first owner eat the steepest part of the drop, and you get almost all of the car for a real chunk less. Let somebody else pay for the smell. GAP Insurance, that stands for Guaranteed Asset Protection, covers the gap between what you still owe and what the car's worth if it gets totaled while you're upside down. And honestly, it can be genuinely useful, especially early in a loan. The catch isn't the product, it's where they sell it to you, the finance office, at a markup that would make a sommelier blush. Here's the move. Your own car insurance company almost always sells the exact same coverage for a small fraction of the price. So if you want GAP, get it. Just get it from your insurer, not from the guy whose whole job today is to sell you a coffee mug's worth of coverage for the price of the espresso machine. This brings us to the final boss, F&I, which stands for Finance and Insurance, the last little office where you go to sign and where dealers make a shocking amount of their money. Because waiting for you in there is the menu: paint protection, fabric guard, VIN etching, nitrogen for your tires, extended warranties, the works. It's presented like a fancy tasting menu, but most of it is high margin filler you will never ever use. And here's the beautiful part. Every single one of those is optional. You can decline all of it. The magic phrase delivered with a warm, friendly smile is simply, "No thank you, just the car." Practice it in the mirror if you have to. That one sentence is worth thousands. Here's one you'll see on basically every deal. The doc fee, short for documentation fee. It's what the dealer charges to, and I quote, "process the paperwork," which is a charming way of billing you for the privilege of buying their car. Depending on your state and dealer, it ranges from pocket change to genuinely insulting. Some states cap it, plenty don't. Sometimes you can get it knocked down, sometimes it's fixed, but either way, this is exactly why you anchor everything to that out-the-door number. Check the fee against the total, so a surprise $300 processing charge doesn't quietly slip into the bottom line while you're distracted by the free keychain. And finally, the move that ties this whole video together, pre-approval. That's getting an actual loan offer from your own bank or credit union before you ever go shopping. Here's the dirty little secret of dealer financing. The dealer goes out and gets a wholesale rate from a lender, call it the buy rate, then often marks it up to a higher sell rate and pockets the difference. You never see the markup. It's just baked into your monthly payment. But walk in, already pre-approved, and the entire game flips. Now they have to beat your rate to win your business instead of quietly padding it. You've turned financing from a trap into a competition, and for once, you're the one holding the prize. So there's your decoder ring. Learn just these words, and you've taken away the dealer's single biggest advantage, which was never the cars or the contracts, it was your confusion. You now know MSRP is only a starting point, that out the door is the only number that actually matters, that money factor is just an interest rate wearing a disguise, and that no thank you, just the car is a complete sentence. Walk in speaking the language and watch how differently they treat you. If this saved you a headache or a few $1,000, subscribe to Automotive Insights and share it with the next person you know who's about to go car shopping. Next time, we go even deeper. I'll see you then.